What's up, everybody? Paul here from the Hoops Crew, and good news. The free agency period has begun, and on day one, the Cats have already got their big free agent. That's right. James Worpel is coming across from the Hawks, and to any of the Hawthorn supporters who are watching now, love you. Thank you for providing us James Worpel. We're looking forward to donning him in the much better colours of blue and white, horizontal stripes in 2026 and beyond. But what does it look like? How does Worpel fit into the Geelong mix? The transaction itself, what did that entail? We're going to talk about all of those things in this video. But first, let's take a word from our sponsor, Cyril Cook Florist.
The Hoops Crew Media Network is proudly sponsored by Cyril Cook Florist. Visit them at shop 1211 Leather Street in Breakwater. Phone them on 035 222 2244 or visit their website at www.cyrilcookflorist.com.au and use the offer code GOCATS in the voucher field at checkout to get 20% off your next online purchase.
Thank you, Cyril Cook Florist, as always, for your ongoing support of the Hoops Crew and all we get up to. Now let's talk a little bit about this transaction. Firstly, James Worpel joins the Cats as a restricted free agent, and Hawthorn, as compensation for his departure, will be getting pick 39 as things currently stand. There's a lot of free agency work going on. There's going to be bids on father, sons, and academy players and all that sort of stuff. So it won't end up being 39. It'll probably come in a little bit, if anything. But that's where things lie as things stand in this vacuum of time as we've recorded them. But we'll see how things play out going forward. What you need to know is that James Worpel is now a Cat. The Cats made an offer to Worpel on Friday morning as a restricted free agent, with the Hawks electing not to match Geelong's free agency offer. It is a 4-year deal that they've offered him. Money, we don't know. That's not something that gets publicized in this system, but we know 4 years and he'll be joining for at least that period of time. He's originally from Bell Park in Geelong. He's played alongside the likes of Brian Myers over the years. Worpel returns home having played 148 games for the Hawks over 8 seasons, including winning the Peter Crimmins Medal for Hawthorn's best and fairest in 2019. Let's ignore the fact that it was a rough year for the Hawks. In any club, in any season, it takes a lot to be named the best and fairest. And so congratulations to him. I'm looking forward to having him at the Cats. A tough inside midfielder, renowned for his attack in the contest. In 2025, Worpel averaged 20.1 disposals, 5 tackles, and 4.8 clearances in 21 games. Geelong Cats Executive General Manager Football, Andrew Mackie, said the club was thrilled to welcome Worpel to the Cats, saying, "We're really pleased to welcome James to the Cats. James is a quality person and player who we believe will complement our current playing group. We're looking forward to seeing him in the Hoops in 2026. So let's talk a little bit about what role he could potentially fill at the Cats. Because I'm kind of two minds. And I've obviously done a video talking about the prospect of him coming to the Cats from a while ago. And I think he's still going to be a really valuable asset. And I've tossed and turned about, is he going to be someone that's going to walk up into our starting 23? Or are you expecting the likes of your George Stevens and your Jai Clark and your Mitch Nevitz, those guys who are kind of lingering around position 23, 24, 25, 26 in the pecking order? Is he going to jump them, or is he going to find himself stuck in the mix with them? And I think at face value with his history, you're going to say he jumps them. But for how long? When these guys have got natural development, that remains to be seen. The thing that I'm most interested in here, though, actually involves the rule changes that we've seen come in around the bench and the sub going into 2026. There won't be a sub anymore. And we haven't done a dedicated video on this because I don't think there's that much that I can say. A lot of it really links to the moves that we're making now. And we'll get to analyze and see what impact the lack of sub has on the game when we get to season 2026. But I'm firmly of the mind that in this current climate, most teams can only have one game day beast in the center clearance that's kind of chasing the ball and hunting the clearance stat and hunting the player to get your tackles. Something that James Worpel does very well, but upon joining the Cats, I would think that he probably still sits behind Tom Atkins, for example, or Paddy Dangerfield when he drifts in the middle. I feel like he's a little bit further back in the queue behind those. Might be ahead of many others, but he's behind those two key people when it comes to Geelong's midfield, specifically Tom Atkins. And so my query is that I don't think in this current game you can have two players that are playing that same role on the same team. You can be a little bit too one-dimensional. You can be kind of too lacking. Now, I think Geelong's got this great luxury that we can have our inside bulls, potentially two of them at the same time, but then you can have the outside dash of a Bailey Smith and a Max Holmes, and it can all work pretty well. But the big spanner in the mix here is now the bench is increasing from 4 spots to 5. The 5th is no longer a sub. The 5th is a player. Now, I'm sure they're going to alter or maybe they won't, alter the number of interchanges that can be made per game. But 5 players on the bench gives every team an opportunity to explore what's possible now. Some are suggesting this might be space for a second ruckman. Maybe this is the opportunity to get that second contested bull sitting there ready to go. And you can kind of have Atkins and Worpel waxing off one another. And you're probably going to have plenty of times when they're both on the ground as well. But maybe you can leverage this for an additional midfielder to provide that extra versatility, that extra opportunity for rest and recharge and go again. And this could really prolong careers of a few of these blokes. But when it comes to Worpel and how he fits in this team, I could see him being that 5th bench player. Not because he's the 5th worst, but because you've got this, like, he's that foil for Tom Atkins. He's the one that can come on when Atkins needs a break. He's the one that if we're getting beaten at the coalface, you can send him on and you don't have to worry about overloading it too much, because if things start to lighten up, if things start to ease, you can shuffle him around the ground, or you can bring your Bailey Smiths and your Max Holmes in there to inject that speed when you need to. You're more versatile now. We can kind of flick that switch and don't have to worry about who we're taking out of the game anymore. And so I think this could actually be a really valuable asset for the Cats. We're, of course, focusing quite heavily on the conversation around Curnow and the conversation around Marshall at the moment, Rowan Marshall, who, as of this point in time, has nominated now that he wants to go to the Cats. He's requested that trade formally. And we're, of course, gravitating to them because they probably address our needs more than what James Worpel does. But the more I see this, the more I wonder if, with the way the game is potentially about to change, with the lack of sub going into 2025, that he also might be a really, really valuable asset in that role as a contested animal. And again, look at this. The blue and white hoops suit him way better than that brown and white atrocity that he's been wearing for the last 8 years. So, James Worpel, very much looking forward to seeing you in the blue and white hoops in season 2026. Very keen to see how you forge your role within the club. You've done a range of different jobs within the Hawthorn unit over the years. Keen to see how you translate that and how Scotty wishes to use you going into the new season. We do like a bit of versatility here at the Cats, and so I'm really curious to see how you will be a more versatile player in the blue and white going into season 2026 and beyond. But thank you for having checked out this video. If you haven't already, like it, subscribe to the Hoops Crew, and check out all of the content that we're producing here from myself, Ben, and the chaps. There's a hell of a lot of it. So I hope that you enjoy it. Check it all out. You'll find us on Patreon as well. If you enjoy all that content, Patreon is the place to be. Patreon.com/thehoopscrew, where you can subscribe for $5 per month and get early access, extended content, and exclusive delivered directly to your email inbox. And if you want to try before you buy, there's also a 7-day free trial there for you as well. You'll find me on socials. That's Paul James Games on Twitter, Blue Sky, and Instagram. The Hoops Crew you'll find at the Hoops Crew. And until next time, remain Geelong strong, everyone. James Worpel, welcome to Geelong. I'll see you later.